Hey kids, how about another project? So, here in the tropics, Florida to be exact, there's this cactus that grows. It's called a night blooming cirrus. Here you go. That's right, dragon fruit. So, in order for dragon fruit to grow happy, first of all, you kind of need to be in a tropical environment. Check. And you need to get you some dragon fruit clippings. Now here where I live, I went on to the Facebook marketplace, found a nice lady who had them for sale for 10 bucks a piece. And my brother has a really big one growing in his yard, and so he gave me a couple. And so I have these water barrels that I bought a bunch of for rainwater collection. I set one of them up, and I'm going to set the other one up on the other side of the shed. Works really well. So there's 55 gallons of fresh rainwater available to me. So that means I have 2 extra. I'm going to cut them in half, and I'm going to turn them into planters. Okay. So the next thing that you need is a trellis, something for the dragon fruit cactus to grow up. It likes to climb, and once it reaches the highest point, it sends shoots off that dangle down, and once they dangle down, that's when it flowers and fruits and makes your dragon fruit. Okay, so here's what we're doing today. We're gonna make dragon fruit planters and trellises. Neighbor decided it was time to mow the lawn. Okay, so we're gonna make 2 trellises. We're gonna make 2 planters. We're gonna cut 1 barrel in half today. I'm gonna actually make 4 of them, but I'm only gonna do 2 today. So this is what you need to make your 2 trellises, all right? You're gonna wanna get 2 pressure treated 4x4s, 8 foot, and you're gonna wanna get 3 pressure treated 2x4s, all right? And then this is what we're gonna do. The first thing we're gonna do is cut the 8 footer. We're gonna cut 2 feet off of it. We're gonna turn it into a 6 footer. All right, now that that's cut, we're gonna cut one of the 2x4s into 13-inch sections. So we're gonna measure the first 13-inch. Right? We're gonna cut that. Now that we have the first one cut, I'm just gonna use it to measure out my next one. And I'm gonna do that until I have 8 of them. Now I'm only gonna get 7 out of the first 2x4, so I have to cut the last one off of 2x4 number 2. So we want 8 13-inch pieces of 2x4. All right, so we've got our stack of 13-inch pieces of 2x4. We're gonna need 4 per trellis. This is gonna be the base. All right, we're gonna use 3-inch deck screws. All right, we're gonna take the first one and we're gonna set it so that it's flush with the side and flush and square with the bottom, and we're gonna screw it in. All right, 2 screws. Now, we're gonna give it a turn on the table without dropping it off the table completely. All right, and we're gonna do the next one out to the same side like this. Flush with the side, flush with the bottom, screw it in. All right, that's 2. Now we're gonna turn it again and do it again. That's 3, flip it, and one more time. This one will be the only one that we actually get to butt up against the first one. All right, so here we have all 4 of them. Screw this one in. All right, now that we've got all 4, we're gonna put one more screw into it. We're gonna eyeball the middle of this foot and the middle of this foot, and we're gonna put one right there. And we're gonna do that to all 4 of them. Flip it, put it in, flip it, put it in, all 4. What we end up with is a freestanding post like that. Now you remember that 2-foot chunk that we cut off earlier? Well, that comes into play now. That is going to be the beginning of the trellis top, like so. All right, so we've got an 8-foot and a 7-foot, roughly, 2x4. The 8-footer, we're going to cut in half. And then we're going to cut those halves in half. The reason we're going to do that is so that they all come out the same length. So I have 8.5 inch. I'm going to make my first cut at 4.25 inch. And I'm going to make sure to cut exactly down the middle of the line. Now, if you measured 14 times and held your tongue just right, you should have 2 2x4s or 4 2x4s that are exactly the same size as the 2-foot piece that you cut off earlier from the 4x4. And you got 2 of these. All right. Now, this other one we have, and we're done with the saw. All right. So now we're going to put together our top trellis. We're going to take our 2-foot piece of 4x4. All right, this is the part I want on the bottom. That's the part I want on the bottom, like this. And we're going to take our 2-foot pieces and we're going to put them on each side because they are the same as the centerpiece. And then we're going to put our shorter pieces on the outside, and we're going to line everything up and we're going to screw it together. You're going to have something that looks a little like this. All right, find the center point of your 4x4, find the center point of your outsides. Your insides are exactly the same measurement as your 4x4. Line up your middle point of this one to this one, this one to this one. All right, Now don't worry if you've got a little bit of a gap, because your screws are going to pull everything together. Start with one screw in the middle on both sides. Then start on one end and put 2 screws, square everything up, put 2 screws in here, then go put 2 screws on this side. And then repeat on the other side. The other side might separate a little bit, but that's okay because the screws will pull it together. And there you have your first trellis top. Now we're just going to mount it to the top of the pole. You should have something that looks akin to that. All right, so now we've got our barrel. We're going to measure it. We're going to draw a line down the middle. So the barrel is 35 inches. Half of 35, 17 and a half. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and make that 17 and a half mark about every 6 inches around the whole thing, and then I'll connect them all. All right, so we have our line drawn around the circumference at 17 and a half. We've made sure that it's 17 and a half this way and that way. And now we cut. Dun, dun, dun. So I'm going to leave the bung caps in there, but I am going to be drilling holes through the side for drainage. All right, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding some rock and then some weed barrier, and then we're going to put the soil. The reason we put rock and weed barrier, we're going to put 3 layers of weed barrier down over the rock so that the soil can drain. They are cacti. Even though they're tropical cacti, they do want water, but you don't want to overwater them, so the soil needs to be able to drain. All right, things are getting real close to happening now. I did have to make some minor adjustments to the ends of the cross pieces. This would be the bottom of the barrel. This would be the upside down top of the barrel. And if you look close, you'll see what I did was I had to cut the ends at an angle to match the inner ring. So what I did was I set it in there. I just looked over the top. I took a Sharpie, marked it, set my skill saw at an angle, and cut them off, and now it fits perfectly. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I've got my drill and a large drill bit, and I'm gonna drill some holes around the base like so. I drill it on the bottom because I'm putting it on this pad. It's not going to drain well. But if you're putting it on grass or on soil, you could certainly put your holes in the very bottom. Now I am going to drill a couple, probably 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4 holes in the very bottom so that it doesn't perpetually pool at the very bottom, but it'll drain very slowly. So 4 holes in the bottom. And 4 holes down at the bottom on the outside edge. And the same thing in this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 8 holes. That's plenty of drainage. Now, we are gonna split this up half and half, half and half in the bottom, rocks covering the holes. I've decided to use marble. Marble is basically just quartz. Quartz is a good thing. It's not going to leach all kinds of different compounds or minerals or anything like that. Quartz is quartz is quartz. 1 bag of the marble chips is perfect. That is all the more we need to make sure that the dirt doesn't end up packing the holes full. This is going to ensure that drainage happens. Now we're going to take weed barrier, make it 3 layers thick. We're going to cut it off, cut that in half, run a slit up each side to go around the 4x4 and put that over the rocks, like so. Now we add our soil. My first layer will be raised bed potting mix. All right. Second layer is going to be Miracle-Gro cactus and palm. And third layer is just another raised bed, but it's organic raised bed soil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure to mix and churn the Miracle-Gro cactus and palm with the raised bed soil on the top layer. And that's what it looks like. All right. Now it is right to the tippy top edge with those 3 bags of soil. But as soon as I water that the first time, everything's gonna settle in, and there'll be, I don't know, between 1 and 2 or even 3 inches of edge of the barrel visible. Now, because of the shape of the top, I may have some leftover soil. And what I'll do is I'll make sure that the last bit of soil I'm putting in is the green bag, so that it gets definitely all of this bag and all of the Miracle-Gro cactus. All right, it actually took all 3 bags. So there you go. They've got their soil. I've got them where I want them. And I'm gonna go get the step stool, and I'm gonna attach the top trellises, and then we will plant our dragon fruit. Okay, so measured to the center, measured out where the 4x4 sits, which is actually a 3.5 inch square, right? And we're putting 3 holes 1 inch deep, big enough for our bit extension to fit into it. The reason we have to do that is because we've got 3 inch screws, and this is 3.5 inches deep. We're never going to reach the other 4x4. So by going down 1 inch, that gives us 1 inch plus into the wood with 3 screws. We'll do that to both of them. And we'll get up on the step stool and we'll mount them on the tops. And there you have it. 2 dragon fruit trellises with soil, ready for the dragon fruit to be planted. That'll be the next video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm jumping in the pool. Oh, and by the way, do me a favor and do that subscribe thing. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks. Love y'all.